What is happening, Magnus sites? We got some more Diddy news. As you can see, you see that damn title. Oh boy, this should be interesting. All this stuff is coming out too. I've been watching a bunch of y'all know what I'm talking about. A lot of other channels coming out with stuff, that's not mainstream news. Oh my God, man. Whew.
Joining me now, Brian Claypool, a criminal defense attorney. So, Brian, what Matt was just talking about, these so-called freak-offs, these were no secret. So he'd been openly bragging about these wild parties. There's like sex parties, and it looks like, there were probably lots of other things going on there too. But he was bragging about this for, a couple of decades. Watch.
This is what you need to do. Women, beautiful women. We need alcohols.
Right.
Alcohols.
Right. Not just one alcohol.
Alcohols.
Right. Just different
Plurals.
blend. You need the ladies, you need the booze.
Right. Gotta keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
Yeah.
Brian, that was creepy, but what took the Fed so long to do something?
Hey, Laura, always great to be with you. Yeah, I think it's where I'm an L.
That's one of those clips that they'll say, this did not age well.
It's the Hollywood celebrity
Or maybe it did age well, depending on how you're looking at it.
path to justice, where we simply look at a clip like that and we laugh and giggle about, oh, let's get alcohol, let's get drugs, let's get all these ladies at a party.
Let's lock them in.
He's gotten a whole pass. He's actually created his own kingdom where he makes his own rules, and you got to follow his rules or you get penalized. And guess what, Laura? He's now in a federal penitentiary, and for the first time in his life, he's facing his own fate at the hands of somebody else. And I will tell you, Laura, I've done federal cases, that's not the place you want to be in federal court. 90% of federal criminal indictments brought down are pled out, right? A plea deal is brought. And of the only 10% left, 90% of those defendants that go to trial, they lose. So he is looking at a daunting uphill battle to fight these horrible charges.
What is that that clip? What's it called in Wolf of Wall Street? Where the guy's like, we can walk in and dicks could be hanging out at bands. We're not going to lose. I forgot what they called this particular country. They said that the U.S. invaded in 1986 or something like that. And that's what this type of case sounds like to me. By the way, and what is it with the artist not drawing him to look like himself? Like, did they have to stop doing that with court drawings? Because I'm like, damn, this is the worst court drawings I've ever seen if they're trying to make him look like him. You know what I mean? I was watching Dr. Umar earlier talk about this, and he was talking about how it's not, you're basically saying it's not against the law to be a freak. And that's true. You say stuff like 1,000 bottles of baby oil to make him look worse in public opinion, but the fact of the matter is someone having 1,000 bottles of baby oil isn't illegal, which is true, but it's like, apparently, it's these whole charges and doing things over state lines that makes things federal charges. If there are any, certain types of crimes, the state usually handles that. But the fact that this stuff is over state lines, now it gets into federal territory. I think that Dr. Umar doesn't believe that he is guilty, or at least that they haven't shown any proof that he's guilty of certain things other than the Cassie thing. And I'm listening. Okay, I was listening to him, and I was just like, okay, well, I guess we'll find out sooner or later. You know what I mean? 'Cause they claim they've been doing this for a while. So, and I think he may have said something about they may be out to get other people, and that's why they got him. So it's not just him they're after; they may be after more people. So. And not a lot of people are saying that.
DHS agents involved in this raid on his Miami mansion described what he saw inside the house, saying that, in my opinion, he's as bad as Epstein. These women are young, either barely legal or barely illegal. Brian, this sounds like he was a monster.
Yeah, Laura, I will tell you that this indictment was very detailed, by the way, too. Your viewers should know there were over 300 subpoenas served, over 50 witnesses interviewed. Why is that important? Because the subpoenas served, detailed, by the way, too. Your viewers should know there were over 300 subpoenas served.
300 penises served? What? Huh? Oh, subpoenas. Okay. 300. Wow. Wow. That's a lot. Wow.
Over 50 witnesses interviewed. Why is that important? Because the federal prosecutors aren't going to be leveling an indictment like this unless they have ammunition and they have cause to bring it. And the core issue at this case, which the feds have to prove, which it's looking like they can, is that P. Diddy essentially controlled these women, that he threatened them with stopping the money that he was paying them, that he spiked their drinks with drugs, that's been alleged in the indictment, and that he basically told them, I'm going to ruin your life unless you engage in these freak-offs. And that's really what the prosecutors got to prove. And if you've got some victims coming forward to talk about that, you've got financial records that prove that, travel itinerary that proves that, P. Diddy has very little defense. And I got to tell you, Laura, if this guy wants to fight these charges, he's going to have to step up and walk into a courtroom and talk about it. If he doesn't testify in this case, he is dead on arrival.
Well, who else is on these tapes? I mean, will the tapes ever see the light of day? I mean, that's what everybody's talking about. Who else is there? It's like with the Epstein, his pleasure island. Who else? Who went? Who was there? What's the manifest? But Brian, chances 1 being least likely, 10 being most likely. Will we learn of other celebrities that were at these freak-offs?
Yeah, I think you've got an 8 or a 9 for a likelihood you're going to hear about it. Why? Because there are going to be more indictments coming down, Laura. That's an important...
I just keep seeing all these posts saying like Jay-Z shaking in his boots. Like everybody keeps saying that. And I saw Jaguar Wright today saying something. Oh, what was she saying about a mistress he had or something? I'm just like, yo. Ow,
point
man.
He's being charged with racketeering and conspiracy. You're going to have, well, let's start on the inner circle. You're going to have former bodyguards. You can possibly have former musicians that he was with. You've got personal assistants that are going to be, they're already talking about this. Some of those are likely to be charged. And then guess what? If you've got some music moguls that are sending women over to...
I ran into a guy yesterday that literally had a meeting with Bad Boy at one time. And me and him are talking. We hadn't seen each other in years. And, he walked away. We were at a restaurant. He walked away. And then he came back like 5-10 minutes later. He was like, yo, man, with everything going on. And I was like, yo, I was just telling her you had a meeting. He was like, yo, like, what could I have been involved in if I had been signed, man? And I was like, yo. He was like, yo, I'm feeling like I dodged a bullet. He was like, no way I'd have been willing to do any of that stuff to make it, I'm like,
These alleged freak-offs, then you've got some top people that are going to start crumbling too, because they're all part of what's called this criminal enterprise.
All right, Brian, always great to see you. Thank you so much.
I'm Steve Ducey.
Yep, I remember when dude's brother told me, he was like, yo, we walked up in there. They was like, Bad Boy in the house. And, yo, it was cool. And my brother sat down and he spoke with them. And, I was just like, wow, man. So this was when we were in our 20s. I remember this. And it's just funny all these years later. And when everything started going on, I thought about it. I was like, wow, it'd been crazy. What if he was one of his artists? Could he have been somewhere or been on tape? And, because I'm sure there's going to be people that were at parties that wasn't doing a damn thing, but it was just at a Diddy party. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, it's Diddy. I got to go to a Diddy party. There's people like that. But I was like, yeah, it might have been some wild stuff going on, but you wasn't part of it. So I know there's going to be, there's going to be a lot of that. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of them that was part of something. Man, this is, whoo. Post comments down below. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed my thoughts on this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. 10 million subscribers. Woo!